ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన NSR ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ NSR ఇంపల్స్.
So students, let us continue with the living world. Where are we in the discussion? In taxonomy we were studying about the 4 components. What are the 4 components? Characterization is the first component that we completed. Now where are we? Here in the second one, second part of taxonomy. A second part of taxonomy is nothing but what? Identification. Second one is nothing but what? Identification. So when we take the second part here, yes. So when you take the second part here, what is the first one we completed? First one we completed, it's nothing but what? Characterization. So when we take the identification here, remember identification of a new plant, it can be done directly, or better you can write down, it can be done directly with the help of herbarium. What is important here? Directly, or it can be done indirectly with the help of keys in floras. What is the meaning of this here? Now if you look at identification of the new plant, meaning we are just identifying a new plant. That means it may be an already discovered plant, or maybe it is entirely a new plant where world does not know anything about it, or so far any scientist not yet been discovered. So how to do identification? First of all, we have the list of all characters. So we have list of characteristics we already have in our chart. List of characters means what? Just we have written in the previous class, vegetative characters, the floral characters, as well as we have our reproductive characters. Now using these all characters, after it is being noted down by an ecologist, what he will do? He will try to identify the plant. How he will identify the plant? Now with these characters, as he has noted on the paper or on the sheet on the file, he will try to compare these characteristics with the list of plants what are available in the district library. In district research center or district library about the plants, where so far all the plants which are identified in the district will be available at one place with the prescription about written about all characters. Now he will take all his characteristics of a new plant and he will try to match with the list of the known plants which are available with the local or district research center. Maybe these characters are not matching with any plant which given in the list of a district research center. And what he will do? He will go to the national level, like Royal Botanical Garden, or what you say, Indian Botanical Garden, National Botanical Research Institute. We have some institutions in India where you will get data or prescription on list of all the plants which are available across India in different forests. So what a ecologist or scientist he will do? He will try to match what the noted characters, he will try to match these characteristics with the available plants in a national research center. Maybe if it is matching, then he will come to know that yes, it is already an identified plant and the name of the plant is so and so. Okay. So if the characteristics are identified, then a scientist will come to know if they are identified, and if they are notified by the scientist, then he will come to know a name of the plant. He will come to know the name of the plant. Suppose with these characteristics, these are the characteristics of a what? A new plant. Suppose these characteristics are not matching with any other plant which is mentioned in the National Research Center, meaning the plant characteristics or the name of the plant is unidentified, then it is concluded as it's entirely a new plant, meaning not yet discovered, not yet discovered by the scientist in India. Okay, so it may be concluded as entirely a new plant. What's the meaning of this? Suppose if the characteristics are matching, then he will identify the plant. Yes, then he will come to know the name of the plant. Suppose the characteristics of the plant, what he thought as a new plant, are not matching with any of the plant given in the list in the National Research Center, then he will come to know then it is an unidentified plant, meaning it's entirely a new plant, not yet discovered, meaning no scientists have discovered in India, in national, because national level we are speaking. Suppose maybe it is not discovered in India, maybe identified or discovered somewhere in any part of the world by any other scientist, then how to come to know that? Then he has to go to International Research Center. International Research Center, or one of the biggest international system is nothing but a Royal Botanical Garden, that I will tell you later. There how do you identify? So identification of a new plant can be done directly. So you have to remember this point, very important. It can be identified directly with the help of herbarium. What is a herbarium? Herbarium, if you go to International Center, for example, you have entered into Royal Botanical Garden, that is the largest international research center, and here you find the details and data and prescription or information on all plants which are identified across the world, means which plant and what is the name of the plant, where it will grow, which country it will grow, and what are the characters of each and every plant will be mentioned in the biggest, largest research center called Royal Botanical Garden. There you will get list of all existing plants, all identified plants across the world. In the total world, what are the plants identified so far, about each and every plant, you will get information from the International Center, which is called RBG. There how you will identify? Directly with the help of herbarium. What is herbarium? In your second year, especially BPC students, in your second year you have to prepare herbarium. Herbarium is nothing but a large sheet, very big sheet, a very big sheet will be there, on which the collected plant specimen will be there, the particular plant it will be there, a particular plant, what are the leaves, vegetative, for example, if you take on which date is written, a collector name, who collected the plant, and vegetative scientific name of the plant or biological name of the plant, and who collected the plant and his scientist name, vegetative characteristics of the plant, floral characteristics of the plant, and reproductive characteristics of the plant, and each and every plant part will be pasted, followed by there are many sheets, you need to turn like a book. In each and every sheet you will get each and every part of the plant is well explained along with the characteristics. Like that you will find list of plants, meaning we get plant specimens, sample of plant and what are its parts and characteristics description, everything is available, written and prescribed, and it is preserved in the herbarium sheet. Herbarium has so many sheets, the plant, each plant information you will get it from herbarium. So across the world, what are the different plants? The complete list of information is available in herbarium. So identification of the new plant can be done directly with the help of herbarium. Try to remember, at the end of the lesson we are going to study what is herbarium. At that time we will discuss more details about herbarium. Now presently try to understand, we have an herbarium sheet, and herbarium sheet has description about characteristics of all the plants. So what the scientist will do, he will try to take it to the international, if it is not matching with the local or district level, he will go to national level. Then he will come to know whether it is identified in India or not, or a new plant. Then he will try to match with the list of plants which are available across the world in the International Center, that is Royal Botanical Garden, and with directly with the help of herbarium. If it is not identified, then he will try to identify indirectly with the help of keys in the floras. What's the meaning of keys in the floras? Keys are nothing but some characteristics. Flora means about plants. Suppose he find that stem is hairy. For example, for the new plant, he identified one character. Stem is hairy. Stem is hairy. Then where do you find hairy stem? Hairy stem may be found in case of, either you find in case of Solanaceae, or you find in case of what you find Malvaceae. Suppose the new plant have the character called hairy stem. On the stem you can find some hairs. Stem is hairy. So, where do you find hairy stem? In Solanaceae. If not in Solanaceae, maybe it is a characteristic of Malvaceae. Then what he will do? He will go to International Center. Keys means a particular family, a particular order, particular genus, particular class. Then he will go to keys. Keys means here he will try to look for all the information available on the family called Solanaceae. So, in Solanaceae there are so many plants. He will take first plant and he will see whether characteristics are matching or not. Second plant in Solanaceae, third plant in Solanaceae, 1500, 2000 plants which are available in Solanaceae, he will try to match with these characters. Matching, it is an identified plant. If it is not matching, it is a new plant. Then he will go to second key. What is the second key? Maybe it is belong to the family Malvaceae. Maybe it belong to the family Malvaceae. So, taking family as one of the character is called key. A particular floral character, it is called as a keys. So, he will try to identify and referring all the plants which fall in the category called family Malvaceae. If it is matching, it is an identified plant. If it is not matching, it is called unidentified plant and it is called entirely a new plant. Okay. So, here, so what is very, very important is here identification of a new plant can be done directly with the help of herbarium, indirectly with the help of keys in floras. This is very, very important. Try to remember this, have chance of getting the question. Very, very important point. What is important point? How do you identify a new plant? So, a new plant identification can be done with the help of directly by herbarium, referring herbarium sheets, indirectly with the help of keys in floras, then that will come under identification. Suppose if it is identified plant, then he will come to know the name of the plant and he will write in the data, okay, the plant name is, scientific name is so and so. So, he will start writing, okay, if it is an identified plant, he will find out about scientific name, he will find out about common name and he will come to know about the total information about a complete name of the plant. Suppose if it is entirely a new plant, so far not yet discovered, so far not yet identified, then what is the next step? He has to give name to this a new plant. What he has to do? He has to give a name to the new plant. Then go to the third component of taxonomy, that is called as nomenclature. So, what are the characteristics we were discussing? First one we completed, that is characterization. Then second one is identification. And the third one is you have to study about nomenclature. So, we are here in the discussion about the third one called as nomenclature. So, what is the meaning of nomenclature? So, here it is nothing but the process of naming the plant The process of naming the plant itself is called as nomenclature. Okay. So, if you look at giving a name to the plant, it is called nomenclature. The process of naming the plant itself is called nomenclature. So, how do you give name to the plant? There are certain rules and regulations. What are the rules and regulations? So, we need to follow rules and regulations according to the international research organizations. So, international research centers which has given certain rules and regulations. What are these international research centers? These international research centers, they have some principles, meaning what? Rules and regulations which are being given in naming the organism. So, if you, as you feel like, suppose you are the scientist, you identified entirely a new plant not matching with the district level, not matching with the national list of the plant, not matching with the international list of the plant, you identified entirely a new plant, now you want to give the name. So, generally scientists, they will give name, their own name they will keep to the anything whatever they discover. So, as you feel like, you cannot give name to the plant. So, we need to follow principles, that means rules and regulations given by international research centers. There are so many international research centers. Which international research centers we need to follow for giving the name to the plant? So, we have two. One is nothing but ICBN. What is ICBN? ICBN, it is nothing but International Center for Botanical Nomenclature. Botanical Nomenclature. What is that? International Center for Botanical Nomenclature, means this is used for giving names to the plants, because this is for botanical nomenclature. This is one of the international organization which gives certain principles, rules and regulations for naming the plants. What is that? ICBN. What is ICBN? International Center for Botanical Nomenclature. Similarly, if you want to give names to the animals, then we have other one. What is that? ICZN. What is this ICZN? This is nothing but International Center for Zoological Nomenclature. Zoological Nomenclature. Zoological means we need to talk about the zoo is the place for animals. This is a international center which is used to give rules and regulations for naming the animals. So, we have two international research centers. One is called ICBN, other one is called ICZN. What is ICBN? International Center for Botanical Nomenclature. Guys, try to remember. ICZN, International Center for Zoological Nomenclature. One for giving names to plants, other for giving names to animals. Now, if you look at here, we say earlier there are so many systems for giving names to the plant. One, we have different like polynomial nomenclature. Polynomial nomenclature. Okay, what is polynomial nomenclature here? Polynomial nomenclature meaning here the name of the plant, the process of naming the plant, the process of naming the plant with many words or more than 3 words. So, earlier in a very ancient period of time, Carolus 1 Linnaeus, before to that Carolus 1 Linnaeus, before the era of Linnaeus, there was people used to follow the type of nomenclature called polynomial nomenclature. What is polynomial nomenclature? Process of naming the plant with many words that includes more than 3 words. Okay, so maybe the scientific name of the plant which has more than 3 words, right. Then later maybe then people thought that it may be very difficult for remembering the name of the plant having more than 3 words, right. Then they introduced what is called as a trinomial nomenclature. Then they introduced what is called a trinomial nomenclature. So here it is nothing but the process of naming the plant with 3 words, What are these 3 words? We call first word. A first word is referred as genus. So what is the meaning of this? Tri means 3 words. So the scientific name of the plant, a scientific name of the animal must and should include 3 words. Okay, that is the process of naming the plant with 3 words. If 3 words are there, then that is called a scientific name, and that will come under the type of nomenclature called trinomial nomenclature. Okay, so what are the 3 words? The first word or the first word in the name of the scientific name, it's called a genus. The second word in the scientific name, it is called as a species. Then the third word in the scientific name of the plant, it is referred as a subspecies. Okay. So now let us see that what are the things which we take into consideration here. For example, that means here the scientific name of the plant or the scientific name of the animal must and should include the 3 words. The first word itself is called genus, second word itself is called, remember, species, and third word itself is called a subspecies. For example, you can take what we call Carvus splendens. Corvus splendens. So what is this Corvus splendens? Corvus splendens, this is nothing but genus, first word. Second word is nothing but species name, and the third word is nothing but a subspecies. Okay, so this is called as what? A trinomial nomenclature. Okay, so polynomial means scientific name should include more than 3 words. And trinomial later became so difficult for all the people to remember more than 3 words. Then they introduced trinomial nomenclature, that is scientific name should include 3 words. First word is called genus, second word is called species, a third word is called subspecies. For example, if you take Corvus splendens. But still it became difficult for the people to remember 3 words. Then later what they introduced is called as most popular one called a binomial nomenclature. That is very important. Till today what we follow is very important. That is nothing but a binomial nomenclature. Let us discuss that. So we are in the discussion about the third component called nomenclature. Under nomenclature, what we are discussing, very important one, a binomial nomenclature. Very important. So what is binomial nomenclature? The process of naming the plant. The process of naming the plant with 2 words. It's called as a binomial nomenclature. What is that? the process of naming the plant with 2 words is called binomial nomenclature. Nothing, if you look at in olden days, people used to have a very big name. Generally, if you look at your old grandfather's name or grandmother's name, they used to keep something like all God's name like Satya, Varaprada, Shiva, Venkata, Ramana, something like so many words used to keep, and that such kind of naming the organism with so many words, it's called polynomial. Later people thought that it's very difficult to remember all so many words and started keeping 3 names. Okay, they confined to 3 gods names even in giving names to the babies, human beings, right. So, they confined themselves to 3 words. They are called genus, subspecies, species and subspecies. Then finally it again become difficult to remember 3 words. Finally they have come down to keeping the name of the plant with 2 words. Okay, what are the 2 words here? The first word in this, it's called genus, and the second word itself is called as species. First word is nothing but what we call genus. So, the scientific name of the plant, or we say the biological name of the plant. So, what we are discussing about here? A universally accepted name of the plant, universally accepted name which is called as what? A scientific name, or itself is called as what? A biological name. Okay, universally accepted name. Every plant will have only one scientific name. Wherever you go in the rest part of the world, if you call with that name, people will identify. That is universally accepted scientific name itself is called as what? A biological name, right. So, here in this scientific name we find 2 words. The first word is called species and the second word, first word is called genus and the second word is called as species, right. Of course, there may be only one scientific name for one plant across the world, but this one scientific name of the plants has a many local names, and the local name itself is called as, vernacular name. Itself is called as what? A vernacular name. What's the meaning of this? Every organism has its own scientific name. It has its own one scientific name. Across the world we follow only one scientific name, but in different places, in different states, in different country, it may have its own local names. It has many local names, means one plant has only one scientific name, but it will have many local names. Local names itself is called a vernacular name, right. For example, if you take, we say, for example, I am just giving you here Allium cepa. What is an Allium cepa here? Allium cepa, it's a scientific name for onion. It's a scientific name for onion. We all know that. This is scientific name. We have only one scientific name called Allium cepa. Across the world, wherever there is a place, wherever you go, if you say Allium cepa, people will understand they are speaking about onion. But it has many vernacular names. What are these vernacular names? For example, local it's called pyas in Hindi, right. We call as ulli in case of Telugu or Kannada, right. So, these are called as what? These are called as vernacular names. Yes. So, when you take Allium cepa it's called scientific name. Across the world it is accepted, but it has many local names. Pyas is nothing but also onion, that local people in Hindi they speak pyas, right, and ulli in Telugu or Kannada they call it as ulligadda or something, right. So, these two are vernacular names. Remember, vernacular means local names, but every plant has only one scientific name that includes two names. This is nothing but first word is called genus name and second one is called species name. Genus name for onion is Allium, species name for onion is cepa, Allium cepa, right. Now, let us continue further here. Now this binomial nomenclature, it was introduced by, when you say who introduced binomial nomenclature, who introduced a binomial nomenclature? Introduced by, remember, Caspar Bohen. Caspar Bohen. Very, very important. Okay. So, whenever you get the question that this is very important question, binomial nomenclature for the first time was introduced by the scientist Caspar Bohen. Then sometimes we may have choice of getting the question. Even this is a question, very, very important. Who popularized, meaning who used that binomial nomenclature in more familiar way? That means the scientist who popularized binomial nomenclature, then the credit goes to Linnaeus, Carolus von Linnaeus. He popularized what is called binomial nomenclature. He used the binomial nomenclature for giving names to so many plants and so many animals. So, most of commonly the binomial nomenclature was popularized by Carolus von Linnaeus, first time introduced by Caspar Bohen. Now, if you take Carolus von Linnaeus, he is just classified and he has used nomenclature as one of the important study what he has made, and he has given names to different plants and animals. So, this is important to remember. Linnaeus has given names to different plants and animals, and when he has given the names, he has written, again I am telling you, he has written 2 books. One of the book is Systema Naturae, and other book is Species Plantarum. So, there are 2 books which he has written. R, this is R, right, very, very important. Now, about names of the plants he has described in the book called Species Plantarum. This includes the names of the plants identified by Linnaeus. There is another book, Systema Naturae, which includes names of the animals which are discovered and identified by Linnaeus. So, who popularized binomial nomenclature means Linnaeus. Who introduced binomial nomenclature means you have to remember Caspar Bohen. Right guys, I hope you understood. What is the third component of taxonomy? Nomenclature. What is nomenclature? It's here we have polynomial nomenclature, trinomial nomenclature, then we have binomial nomenclature. Remember, polynomial is once upon a time people used to describe calling the plant with too many names. Then they come down to trinomial nomenclature, which includes 3 names. What are the 3 names? Genus, species, subspecies. Then people have universally accepted. Till today what we follow is nothing but a binomial nomenclature. What is by? 2 names, that is the process of naming the plant with 2 words. What are the 2 words? The first word is nothing but genus and second word is nothing but the species, right. So, here if you take across the world, every plant will have only one scientific name or one biological name, but it has many different local names. What do you call these local names? These local names are called as vernacular names. Vernacular, wherever you get, indirectly it means that is asking about local name. For example, if you take Allium cepa, Allium cepa is the scientific name for the onion. Allium is nothing but genus, cepa is species. Vernacular names, if you take in different states, different languages, Pyas we call in Hindi, Uli you call in Telugu, right? They are called vernacular names. Then binomial nomenclature for the first time introduced by Caspar Bohen, most repeated question. Then also we have chance to get other question. Who popularized means Carolus von Linnaeus. What he introduced? He has most commonly used the rules and regulations of ICBN under binomial nomenclature and has given names to different plants and animals. What are the different names he has given for plants? He has written in the book name called Species Plantarum that describes about names of the plants, scientific names of the plants. Another book what he has written is nothing but Systema Naturae that gives description about different identified names of the animals. So, till today universally accepted system which we have what is called as binomial nomenclature, and here we follow rules and regulations according to ICBN. What is ICBN? International Center for Botanical Nomenclature. Right guys, we will continue further with binomial nomenclature if you look at. So, here if you look at binomial nomenclature, mainly what we say, it includes two names. It includes what? How many names? It includes two names. What are the two names here? We say genus name and species name, right. Now, let us talk about rules of a binomial nomenclature. According to ICBN, what are the rules of binomial nomenclature? What is the first word in this? First word itself we call it as genus. Remember the first rule under this is nothing but the first word always need to have the capital letter. The first word, the first letter, it should be a capital letter. This is the first rule. Okay, we are discussing what? Rules and regulations of binomial nomenclature. What is the first word? First word is called genus. In genus, first letter, it should be always capital. It should be always a capital. Then the second word. The second word, in second word the first letter, should be a small letter. So, here the first letter it should be capital and here it should be a small letter. This is the first rule. Okay, I repeat again here, first rules and regulations are according to ICBN. What is the first word? First word is called genus. When we start writing the genus, first rule what you have to follow, the first letter of the genus, it should be always a capital letter. Similarly, second word is called species. In species, the first letter should be always a small letter. Now, if you observe the same example, Allium cepa. So, if you look at this, this is called genus, this is called species. So, here this should be a capital letter, species first letter, it should be a small letter. That is the first rule of binomial nomenclature. Let us continue with the rules of binomial nomenclature. Right. So, not only this, for example, we write this is for Liliaceae. You know this belongs to the family Liliaceae. Right. Let us take, we write Solanum melangina. Solanum melangina. What is this? This is a scientific name for brinjal, right? But you know it well, this belongs to the family Solanaceae. Yeah, this is also scientific name for brinjal, you know that very well. So, in this Solanum is a genus name, in this first letter is capital, M is melangina, that is species name, it should be a small letter. Right. So, we are taking examples for one example for Liliaceae, another example for Solanaceae. Let us take one example for Fabaceae, Pisum sativum. So, this is an example for which family? Fabaceae. So, we are taking one example for each family. So, in this Pisum is nothing but what? A genus name which starts with capital letter. Sativum is nothing but what? A species name which starts with a small letter. Guys, you know common names, right? Pisum sativum is what? Pea plant. Allium cepaeum is what? Onion, right? and solanum is nothing but what? Brinjal, right? So in this you need to take precautions when you are writing scientific name. First letter should be capital, next letter should be small letter when you write the genus and species, because we include two names in one scientific name. That is the first rule of binomial nomenclature.
ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.